Hello everyone, this is Ed Trice, and I'm about to do a demonstration of my program, World Championship Checkers. I am once again making it available for sale for only $10. It is the world's strongest checkers program. It has the ability to announce a win from a distance of 253 moves. It can also probe a database with 132 billion pre-computed positions that it knows are a win, loss, or draw. And this allows the program to play extremely well. It will not walk into any position with 8 or fewer pieces that are lost, and it can see these losses or wins or draws from a great distance. And when you first launch the program, you see this little startup window here, World Championship Checkers, version Platinum 3 by Gil Dodgen with Ed Trice. That's me, the Ed Trice. Gil Dodgen is my buddy out in California. Unfortunately, Gil passed away in April of 2016. He is a true programming genius. He originally wrote a much weaker version of this program that was still incredibly strong. Him and I collaborated on it to make it what it is today, the world's strongest checkers program you can get. And you can see it shows this position here. There's only 7 pieces on the board. The yellow side has 2 kings and 1 checker. The red side has 1 king and 3 checkers. This checker right here is under immediate attack. Otherwise, this red checker would just jump into this area here and crown a king. But it's red to move to get out of this danger, and this is the longest win possible with only 7 pieces on the board. I first published this paper in the year 2003. No one else has this kind of data available for the game of checkers, knowing how long a win is away from its terminal position. This is the only such database in the world, and it can announce a win in 253 moves, and I'm going to demonstrate this to you right now. So the program is loading. You can see down the bottom it says initializing 7-piece database, initializing 8-piece database. It now also has some memory information to let you know how much memory is being used by the computer. It's basically using 2 gigabytes of RAM. And this little speed factor thing is something my buddy Gil did. The 1 gigahertz Pentium 3, when it first came out, was a very strong program. Or it was a very strong, very fast computer. And we have since retained some statistics about how fast it is in terms of what kind of calculations this program can do in the background. So right now it says the speed factor is 9.96 on my machine. That means it would basically be a 9.96 gigahertz Pentium 3 if there was such a thing. But anyway, as you can see, you have a 1-window interface. You can click and drag and move a piece. The checker has an opening book. It can move pretty much right away against many different opening positions, and I'm deliberately making moves to get red in trouble so you can see how quickly white can get a win here. Let's just say I go over here and I go over here. It automatically will enforce the must jump rule. I must jump this piece when there's one available. And let's say I'm going to make this deliberately weak move here. It already can see no matter what, the program is going to be able to at least draw. It looked ahead between 23 and 36 moves. It thought for 7 seconds. It was averaging 5.2 million nodes per second. That means 5.2 million positions per second. And it made this move here. It shows the line of play down the bottom here also. Every one of these moves separated by a comma is a move the program is thinking about. And the program knows it can at least make a draw here. It wants to move this back row checker now instead of playing the move 25 to 22. But I'm going to make this move here and watch what happens. Oh, it still finds the draw. I got to move out of the way because he's going to squeeze right between me. But like I said, I'm just playing some moves here, trying to demonstrate the strength of the program. What move could get me in some serious trouble? How about, well, I mean, I have to do this just to preserve the piece. But watch what the program is doing to get its draw. Watch what happens next. This is interesting. It is throwing away a piece here with the move 11 to 8. You might think, why is the program doing that when I could just jump it? Well, watch what happens here. It's going to throw another piece at me, which I have to take. It's going to multiple jump. And now look at Red's position. I'm kind of running out of options here. Let's suppose I don't make the best move and I go here. And I make this move kind of because I have to. Now it's important. The program is saying I must make this move 12 to 16 here. Let's suppose I don't make that move and I make this move instead. Look at that. All of a sudden, now I am in deep trouble. And you can see just about every move I make here, I'm going to get captured. So I can take back a move. I can take back my weak move, and I can play the move that I'm supposed to play for a draw. Now again, you might be thinking, what can White do here? He's going to trade a piece, and now this guy is going to run away and become a king. So is this guy. See, the program has a sneaky line of play here. Let's do that. And let's see, I have to go here, of course. I just want to show you what it looks like to get a king. You see how it draws a nice looking king there? Pretty nice looking graphics. And this game is just going to spiral down into a draw. So I could save this as draw. But I want to show you the real strength of the program, its databases here. This position right here is the start of the longest win in the game of checkers with only 7 pieces on the board. I'm going to click Start Autoplay, and you'll watch here. Loss in 252 moves. Win in 251 moves. Loss in 250. It's making these moves instantaneously without searching because it has all these moves stored in its database. And if you veer ever so slightly from the optimal play, you will just positively get crushed that much sooner. So this is a demonstration of what Gil and I called the perfect play databases in the game of checkers. It's different than a win-loss-draw database that some other checkers programmers may have. They know if a position can win, if it could lose, or it can draw. But it has no information about what the best move is once you enter the position. And that's because every such piece of information requires 1 byte. And because there are 19 billion different arrangements of 4 against 3, this database literally takes up 19 gigabytes of data. So I guarantee you, this is the strongest checkers program you've ever seen. The funny thing is, I was kind of trying to lose the game, and I played to a draw. I guess that's what happens when you're really good in the game of checkers. I was making some of my second and third choices on those moves. But anyway, so you can see the dilemma here. White has moved its king back to square 32, which is keeping the red checker on 28 from being able to advance and get a king. And White has a stronghold on the center, The checker on square 13 can't move either because there's a king on square 14, a white king on square 14 that's guarding it. So red is kind of spread out and has to try and figure out how to get its two checkers to crown in order to win this ending. It can't win the end game without crowning two kings here. So there goes red. Looks like he's going to get his second crown. No, not quite yet. There he goes. Nope, there's still some more maneuvering going on in the back ranks. Red is trying to dispel white to get him kicked out of that double corner in the top left. If red can do that and chase white into the center of the board and then chase white onto the side of the board, red is going to win. But you can see the pieces also, you notice, they change size as the 3D perspective changes. As the kings get more towards the bottom of the board, they look larger than at the top of the board. It's a pretty cool little interface. We've had this program out for a while. We took it off the market, and I am re-releasing it for the Christmas 2018 season. And those who are my Twitter followers know why I'm doing that. But this is just to demonstrate what you're getting for your $10. Basically, Gil and I worked on this program. I would say it was 3 man-years of effort between the two of us. We each worked about a year and a half between his coding of the graphical user interface, my hiring an artist to render the 3D checkers for us, and I also worked on the 7-piece perfect play database. And we ran it on 2 machines, his machine out in California, my machine out in Pennsylvania. When I would get some database results that he needed, I would literally mail him CDs out to Santa Margarita in California and Santa Margarita Parkway out in California. And he would load up the positions that I solved, and then his program would keep solving them. So it was quite a bit of effort you're getting for your $10, and I guarantee you, if any of you have kids that play the game of checkers, or if you've ever played the game of checkers and just don't have one on the PC, this is definitively the strongest one you can get. We're still 100 moves away from the conclusion here. If you keep watching, you see red is now taking a command of the control along the double corners, and he's trying to get white to swap one of his kings for one of red's kings, so that he could finally promote that last checker all the way down there on square 28. And you can see white's really running out of real estate down there in the double corner. But there's still a lot of play left. I mean, this is still an endgame that people of world champion caliber would have difficulty playing. This is one of the most difficult end games possible. You're only up a checker. It's stranded there in what they call in checkers literature the dog hole, which is square 28 for red. And white's got a king buried back there. There goes to keep the checker from advancing. So 67 moves, 66 moves, 65 moves. You can still see, I mean, probably very few people who are listening to this video right now could even finish the end game from here. It's that tough. And quite frankly, not too many people are good in checkers. Checkers just isn't as popular as chess. Now it's 3 kings. It's going to be 3 kings against 2 very shortly, as soon as red promotes that checker. There we go. And it's still 50 moves to win this endgame, because now what red has to do, red actually has to chase the white kings into opposite double corners and then spread out along the long double corner diagonal and then force a trade that way. So you're going to see quite a bit more maneuvering here, unless red can contain him in this single double corner down here. Usually you chase the kings into opposite double corners. I still don't know if that's going to happen yet or not. Maybe not in this case. Nope, we're going to swap down to a 2-on-1 without chasing them into opposite double corners. That would have been more interesting. That's also a frustrating endgame for beginners to win 3 kings against 2, because once you retreat your kings into opposite double corners, it's almost impossible to time the positions of the kings in such a way that you can force them to get the final jump and make it a 2 kings against 1 position. Well, here we go. Here's the conclusion of it and the conclusion of this video. Hopefully you like the program and you will buy it for only $10. And I thank you very much and hope to see you guys online somewhere.